Hi everyone, it's Rax. Thank you so much for the 50,000 subs on YouTube. It's a milestone that I honestly never thought I would ever get to, so appreciate and love you guys very much. As promised, what we're going to do is we're going to take 50 of your questions and go through and answer them all, and there were a lot of repeat questions, so a lot of you guys are wondering the exact same thing. What I'm going to do, I don't have any kind of script prepared at all. We're just going to go to the question. I'm going to read it, and I'm going to give you the fresh answer straight out of my mind so it feels more natural. Let's get started. Question 1. I'm going to be boring and start off easy because I enjoy getting to know my creators. What is my first name? I hope all of them are going to be this easy. Spoiler alert, they won't be. My name is Ryan. Question 2. Do you have any other hobbies or games that you like to do outside of Diablo? Growing up, I really liked to play soccer or football in Europe. I know Europeans get very upset when you call it soccer. I don't know why we call it soccer. It's just where I was born. I don't know why we don't use the metric system. It's better. It's base 10. Played soccer. Played guitar for about 16 years. If you saw my 30,000 subscriber video, I really like to play the guitar. As far as games, I have played so many video games, you guys. I couldn't even possibly begin to tell you all of them. I love the Final Fantasy series. I love the Zelda series. I love Halo 1. That's the game that I competed competitively at the national level on. Halo 2 was good too, but everything after that, forget it. Just Halo 1 and Halo 2. I have 20 billion hours on World of Warcraft. Really like RPGs, ARPGs. I have played Path of Exile. We'll get to that later. A lot of questions on that. I really like to swim, and I like to lift weights. So soccer, guitar, lift weights, video games are kind of my top things to do outside of Diablo. All right, on to number 3. Your explanations are always simple, on point, didactic. Is this skill or a gift that you were born with, or it's something that you put a lot of effort to achieve? You have a well-built sentence, you're articulate. Does it come from a certain background, or is it a gift? Reading here. Mentoring the slow pace of flow. Is it something that I nagged as something missing from others? And I feel like you're answering every question one would have, which must be incredibly hard because you're a veteran. Well, thank you for the kind words, guys. My background is mathematics, so to be honest, it kind of surprised me to hear this. It makes me very happy. But my speech is not something that I have really put a lot of thought into. Did I look at other people's videos and feel like I needed to change it to address my audience? No. When I watch another video from other content creators, usually I can pick up what they're trying to tell me because I have that background, so maybe it's filling in some of the gaps. And I do think Diablo has a lot of good content creators. Where it might come from is in my career that I had, which we'll get to later, there were a lot of different departments where I would observe a trainer teaching one of the new hires how to do a particular job. And what I was sitting there thinking about is if I had the slate wiped clean and I was coming in fresh, if they were training me in that way and speaking to me in that way, I would not be able to very easily learn what they're trying to teach me. In a lot of those cases, I eventually became the trainer, and based upon what I had learned from that, from listening, and of course my own trial and error, I became more comfortable teaching people things. So that's the mentality that I have when I make a video. I try to assume that you have the slate wiped clean. I want to give you all the information with no nonsense, and I want to present it to you in a way where if you don't have a strong background, it's still going to make sense to you. Number 4. I have 2 questions. Do you play WoW? And is there any item in D3 that you still have not obtained? And what is your main class in WoW, PvP or PvE? Let me go for the easy one here. Is there any item in D3 that I have not obtained? I don't have the Cosmic Wings from the Rainbow Goblin. I've never really searched for it, but I thought maybe playing since the beta, then I would have just magically found the cosmic wings at some point, but I still haven't found those. Do I play WoW currently? No, I haven't played WoW in like at least 6 years. But in Vanilla and the Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King, I played WoW religiously, an unhealthy amount. I probably have the most, out of any video game, I probably have the most hours logged on WoW of any video game. The two classes that I mained were Warrior and Shaman, but I did play all of them. And PvP or PvE, I did both religiously. I've been in some of the best guilds going for world firsts in PvE. And for PvP, I was a gladiator every single season that I played. And in a lot of cases, I was actually a gladiator on more than one class. But I would say Warrior and Shaman are my best two by far. Number 5, what is the origin of the name Raxxanterax? I'm always curious how you got it and why you keep it like that. What's the story behind your username? Okay, well, I'm going to tell you. A long time ago, back when the dinosaurs roamed the earth, something came out called AOL Instant Messenger. It was a program that you used to talk to your friends. So I download it, and it says, what is your screen name? I don't even know what a screen name is. Ryan, enter. Taken. Ryan S, taken. Ryan Dude, enter. Taken. And then I got mad. And I mashed on the keyboard, and out came Raxxanterax. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Enter. Approved. Like, okay, my name is Raxxanterax, whatever that means. Then, when Diablo 2 came out, it was very common to put a 3-letter clan name in front of your name. And me and my friends all played from Nebraska. We all grew up in Nebraska. As an inside joke, we called it Nebraska with an X. So my name in Diablo 2 was Raxxanterax, which is Rax for Nebraska. Raxxanterax was random mashing. Then, when I got World of Warcraft, dashes weren't allowed. What am I going to make my name? I couldn't think of anything better. I just got rid of the dash. Raxxanterax. So, the Rax is Nebraska. The Raxxanterax is just random mashing. I probably have the dumbest name in all of esports. Number 6. We have Vicky. Okay, we got a lot of questions here. Let's just take them one by one. How old am I? I'm going to tell you. But first, I want you to pause the video. How old do you think I am? I'll give you 5 seconds. I am 33. I'm old, guys. It's all shuffleboard and bingo from here on out. Where do I live in the U.S.? I live in Iowa. Never come here. I do not like it here. Need to go back to Nebraska. What's the first game that I ever played? The first game that I ever played was Final Fantasy 1. What's my favorite Final Fantasy? Probably 7, but I love Final Fantasy 1. It's either 7 or 1. I love them both. What's my favorite game hero of all time? Cloud. What's my favorite villain? Sephiroth. You've seen a pattern here. What's my favorite band and musician of all time? That's on another question, so I'll answer that there. Would you marry a Greek nerdy goddess that plays 12 hours a day? I mean, on paper, that sounds pretty good. We should talk, Vicky. We should talk. Sounds pretty good. What is my wife's opinion on me being a full-time gamer? When and if I ever get one, Devin, I will let you know. But I'm usually only okay in small doses, so I don't know if I'll ever subject a female to a lifetime of misery with me. Do I live by myself? What state do I live in? I live in Iowa. Don't ever come here. Do I live by myself? No, I live with one of my best friends for like 15 years. His name is Kirk. Some of you on stream may have seen him. He's a really good guy. Been a long-time friend of mine. How old am I? 33. It's all downhill from here. Number 7, do you smoke weed or take psychedelics? If not, or if you prefer not to answer, then what's your take on legalizing marijuana or psychedelics, such as mushrooms, LSD, etc. in America? What's my preferred adult beverage? Do you take any drugs to play Diablo longer? I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, all right? I'm going to tell you the honest answer, for real. Some of you still may not believe me. I'm going to tell you the truth. I have never, ever been drunk. I have never had a beer in my life. I do not smoke weed or take any psychedelics or any kind of drugs, and I never have. I don't take them now, and I never have before. It's just something that I've never been interested in. There was an event that happened when I was very young that happened with alcohol that made me decide that I would never drink it again, because I was kind of observing. I was like, well, if alcohol will make someone do that, then I just better not drink it. I have had alcohol before, but very, very socially. No. The answer is no. I don't do any of this stuff. What's my opinion on legalizing? I'll be honest with you. I try to stay out of that stuff. I don't have a strong opinion either way. I just do what I do, and I try not to impose my agenda on others. But no, this is something that I have stayed away from my entire life and probably will continue to do so forever. Number 8, how did you get into gaming? How did you make the decision to go full-time playing it and making content for the Diablo audience? Thanks for everything. Okay. Is this your full-time job? If not, what do you do for cash? What did you do before being a content creator? Is streaming YouTube your full-time job? What made you want to quit your job and start streaming? What did you study in college? What was your job before streaming? What did you do before YouTube? All right. Let me start with what Matthew said at the bottom here. What did I study in college? So, growing up, in my teenage years, I really, really loved video games, and I was a competitor in Halo 1 and Halo 2. Was going to the national MLG tournaments, and so I really wanted to have a future in that, but it just wasn't financially feasible. I did very well in school. I got a full ride in college as long as I went into engineering. I went to engineering. I did electrical engineering for a year. I did well, but I didn't like it. I switched to computer engineering for a year. I did well, but I didn't like it. I switched to mechanical engineering for a year before I sat there and finally realized I don't want to be an engineer. So I was working at a company, at an insurance company. I was at the bottom rung as a processor. And they said that they would reimburse the rest of my degree, and I could study whatever I want if I kept working there. So for many, many years, I was a full-time employee and a full-time student, and I switched my major to mathematics because I loved math and I loved solving problems. And then I was happy. So I really climbed the ladder in my career at this company. I started at the bottom as a processor, and then they noticed that I could fix all the computers, so they moved me to IT. Then they moved me into project management. Then they moved me to underwriting, which underwriting is where you accept or reject applications, things like that. Then I got my math degree, and they told me that they wanted me to stay. I got some other job offers, and I told them, you want to know what? You guys have been nice to me, and I'm a very loyal person. I'll stay. Then they offered me a position as an actuary, moving to their main office. So I took that. I didn't have an actuarial background. It became very difficult for me because it was very, very challenging, but I was finally using my math degree, so I was an actuary. Then I actually left. For 1 year, I left my job to go help my uncle run his biochemical plant. So I went around the world striking deals for his biochemical plant. I decided again, it's being successful, but this is not for me. I went back to my original job and went to my final department, which was product, where we were determining all the products and how we would release them and sell them all around the United States. And how did I get into YouTube and how did I get into Diablo from that? Well, I saw that esports and streaming was starting to explode, and I was sitting there at my job and I was like, my biggest passion in the whole world is video games. That's what it is. And I'm so sad that these opportunities weren't available to me like 15 years ago, because I would have went this path and I would have done anything that I could have done to be involved in this, because I just love video games so much. It's just, I always have since I was a little kid. And then there were too many trips to the drinking fountain where I would see Nancy from billing or something, and she'd be like, well, Ryan, you know, you're a very nice young man, and man, you have your whole life ahead of you, and if I could have went back and done things different, oh, I would have done this or that, but it's okay, I got 10 years left, and then I'm going to get my 401k, and life's good, but man, enjoy life while you're young. I mean, when you hear that over and over and over, everybody in the hallway, everyone just kind of, they're there just to get a paycheck and go home, and it's just like, I'm just like, why am I here? I would be willing to give up everything to go at this full blast to see if I can do it, not for the fame, not for the money. I don't give a French toast about that. I just really, really would love to do this. That's it. And so I said, I made a plan. I'm a mathematician. I calculated, could it be possible? And then I said, I quit. They're like, are you serious? I go, yeah. They're like, what are you going to do? I'm like, I'm going to go play video games. They go, you got to be joking. No, I'm not joking. I've always been amazed at your relationship with the community. How do you remember so many people and specific details about your viewers? Well, thank you for saying that, James. Everybody has their faults. I have a ton of faults. Way too many that I care to name. One thing that has always come a little bit naturally to me is my memory. I can usually remember things. I don't know why. It's not something that I did or worked on, but I can usually remember things. I think that helps a lot. Another thing that helps a lot is I don't upload a video and then abandon YouTube until my next uploaded video. I read every comment that you guys make. I remember you guys. I can remember what's the last comment that you made. Not in every situation, and as the channel continues to grow, it's becoming harder and harder and harder, but especially the people that come on Twitch. The people that are there on my stream that chat with me all day, I remember you. I know who you are. In some cases, I know your favorite foods. I know who your friends are. I know what country you live in. Any information that you offer me as we continue to be friends, that's what I consider you guys. I don't consider you guys, oh, one more number, one more view count on this video, or one more person watching my stream. I'm not here for the fame and the money. I don't give a shit about that. I don't care. I would rather be a good member of the community and make a lot of friends. Rax pushes you to the max. What is your favorite music genre? Greetings from Germany. You want to know one thing that I've learned? The Germans, now of course this applies to a lot of countries, but specifically the Germans love to blast video games. There's a lot of gamers in Germany. My question is two-part. What kind of music do you like? Second, what is your favorite song? What are your favorite bands? Okay, this is about music. My favorite music genre, if I could only pick one, would probably be classic rock. I love like Led Zeppelin, the Eagles, CCR, Fleetwood Mac, The Doors. All of those bands, I love them. I also really, really like trance music. I can remember one of the only times that I've cried in the last 20 years of my life was when trance.fm went down. I listened to that site like 8 hours a day, all day when I was working. And when Trance FM went down, I mean, I actually shed a tear. That's how much it meant to me. So hope Trance FM comes back one day. What's my favorite song? Oh, man. It, that would be so hard. I'll tell you one song that I think is one of the best of all time, if not the best, is Sultans of Swing by Dire Straits. God, that song is amazing. But it's not just classic rock and trance. I don't mind pop music. I don't mind. I do mind country music. Country music is not for me. Rap is not for me, to be honest with you. I don't ever listen to those. Pretty much anything except country or rap, I'm down with. And one of my favorite modern day bands by far, for especially for anybody who's ever came to the stream, since I'm always blasting their music, is Tool. I think Tool is one of the best bands of all time. How long have I been playing Diablo 3? What do you think of the state of the game and how far it's come? How did you discover Diablo 3? How did you fall in love with it? Why do you love it? Why do you love it? Okay. I've been playing Diablo 3 its entire life, from the beta until now. I have hours logged from Season 1, when seasons didn't even exist and there were monster powers in the game and there were keystone trials and fragments. You guys remember those days? I think the game is a lot better now than it used to be. One problem with Diablo 3 was the launch. The launch, nobody could log in. The real money auction house kind of ruined the economy. A lot of people thought the game was way too hard. Legendaries were so rare to find. You'd never find one, and if you did find one, a lot of them didn't have legendary powers on them, so they didn't even really help you. It didn't even feel rewarding in the rare instance that you could find one. When a game has a very rough beginning, it's very hard to recover from. If people would come back and play Diablo 3 now, it's a lot better. There are a lot more choices. It's a lot more rewarding. In my opinion, it's too rewarding. They essentially hand you everything on the silver platter, and there's nothing really to farm for. So hopefully they can strike a balance in Diablo 4, which we'll get to later. There's some questions on it, if I remember correctly. All in all, I've been playing it my whole career. How did I fall in love with Diablo 3? The real answer is I fell in love with Diablo 2. Diablo 2, I have so many hours logged in that game. It's way more than Diablo 3. It's an unhealthy amount. And I loved Diablo 2. I mean, I just love that game. That's what made me fall in love with the genre. Running around and killing monsters and finding upgrades and getting stronger and chasing after these big super bosses. That entire concept and constantly powering up, just I was enamored with. So the real reason that I fell in love with Diablo 3 is because of Diablo 2. In my opinion, I think Diablo 2 is the better game between the two. But I do really like Diablo 3, and I can't wait for Immortal and D4. And by the way, a lot of people who went to BlizzCon this last season got to try the demo of Diablo Immortal, and they actually said it was a lot of fun. And they said it was a lot better than they thought it was going to be. So I am going to blast Immortal, and let's see if it's a good game while we wait for Diablo 4. All right, number 12. How did you get started doing content? And in an average day, how much time do you log? So we kind of covered the first question there. How much time do you log, and tell us about your typical day? So I don't know if you guys know this, but on Twitch, the streaming platform, I committed to streaming every single day for 10 years, no matter what, every single day. So we're 1 year and 4 months in, have not missed a day. And on average, I stream about 8 hours a day. So I wake up, and then for 1 to 2 hours, I'll either make a video like I'm doing now, or I will answer comments on YouTube, which sometimes can take quite a long time, or I answer direct messages on Discord, Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, for example. So that's 2 hours. Then I stream for 8. And then, so that's 10. And then after that, I usually do probably more work on YouTube for another, let's say, 2 to 3 hours sometime at night. I'll take a break, I'll go lift, I'll eat some food, and then I usually just get back at it. And I have been doing that for a while. And so it doesn't leave a whole lot of time for a personal life, so I won't be able to sustain this forever. But I really wanted to see if I gave maximum effort, what could really be accomplished, and is this a feasible career going forward? So I would say it's anywhere between 12 to 14 hours a day, but in times of very high interest in Diablo, when there's the PTR or when a season is starting, I believe it was season 18. Season 18, in the first 7 days, I streamed 119 hours in 7 days. That's almost the entire day, every day, just to push for glory and try to get rank 1. So I don't think I'll be doing another 119-hour blast until Diablo 4, maybe Diablo Immortal, but you would be surprised how many hours it takes outside of just streaming and outside of just seeing the YouTube video appear, it takes to make it happen. Number 13, I see you with that Colts hoodie. As a Hoosier, what ties do you have with Indiana, and how did you become a Colts fan? This probably isn't a great story, but at my old job, there was a girl there who loved the Colts. And she asked me, Ryan, who do you root for in the NFL? And I said, well, I'm from Nebraska, so I don't really root for anybody. And she goes, Ryan, will you do me a favor? Will you root for the Colts? And I said, do you want to know what? Yes, I will. That's literally it. That's why I like the Colts. All right, number 14. What was the video game that got me started? The one that made me a hardcore gamer? I mean, the first game that I ever picked up and was just enamored by was Final Fantasy 1. I played that game so much, and I couldn't read. So try beating Final Fantasy 1 without reading the text and being like a little kid. It's pretty much impossible. So pretty much all I was doing was killing wolves in the bushes, and by the time I actually figured out what to do, with my dad helping me, I was so over-leveled for everything that I just essentially one-shot everything. That was the game that I fell in love with first, but the ARPG that I played that completely defined that genre for me was, of course, Diablo 2. Have I played Path of Exile? I have full cleared Path of Exile about 2 years ago, and I always hear the game has changed. All right. But yeah, I full cleared it. I did the full map, the Shaper, the Elder, the Uber Lab, all that stuff. It's a good game. Path of Exile is a good game. It does some things better than Diablo 3. It has a better economy. It has rare items that you can actually look for. There's trading, although the trading system I found super hard to find people to trade with. I'm sure there's third-party sites to meet up or find people or something, but I couldn't find an easy way to trade with people. For Diablo 3, I like the gameplay a lot better. The way that the characters move and the graphics, I think, are much better. What are my favorite games and other genres? My favorite games, the Final Fantasy series again, the Zelda series again, Halo 1, Diablo 2, World of Warcraft. Do I play any other genres of games? I play ARPGs, RPGs. I really like puzzle games. I really like the game Limbo, for example. I like fun party games like Mario Party, stuff like that. What drives you to play Diablo 3 at such a high level? Most people burn out. You grind so hard. I understand streaming and YouTube's, but still, you are committed. Motivates you to play throughout the entire season. I always get burnt out. I don't push nearly as hard as you do. What's the secret? How do you get the insane Paragon? How do you motivate yourself? What's the key factor? One thing that I will say just off the bat is I think I'm wired a little bit differently. Maybe I'm a little bit more stubborn than most people. But ever since I was little, I've just been a blaster, man. I've been a grinder. I can just blast a game over and over and over. There doesn't need to be any reward for it. There doesn't need to be a trophy for it or anything like that, other than if I feel that I can do better, I will keep going. And one thing that motivates me a lot is I set goals. If I set a super outrageous goal, as I creep toward it, it motivates me. That carrot on a stick dangling in front of me. I would encourage you, it has nothing to do with Diablo, just in your life, set goals. Set Aggressive goals that you think that you could possibly achieve. And as you creep toward it, I hope that will motivate you to finish the journey. So set the goal of getting a really high Paragon level. I set the goal of potentially getting rank 1 on the leaderboards. And that's enough to keep me going. And another thing is I'm streaming at the same time, meaning I'm talking with a lot of awesome people. I'm listening to music, or I have my favorite streamer on my second monitor. I'm eating a snack. I'm playing with my friends. There's a lot of things that can make it much more enjoyable that you can do simultaneously rather than just sitting at your computer and just grinding. If that's how it is for you, then I could understand how you could burn out so quickly. But hopefully that gives you some insights into how I think about it and what lets me keep blasting. Number 16, have you always wanted to be a streamer? And if not, what was your dream job before doing this? What was your dream job? Has it changed? I always wanted to do something in video games. Being a streamer and making YouTube videos and helping people is exactly aligned with pretty much what my dream job would be. There is one thing I would have rather done over this, and that opportunity was taken away from me when I was 11. I had a tympanoplasty on my right ear. They had to rip out my eardrum, cut off this section of my skin, and sew me a new eardrum. So my ear can't handle the G-forces anymore, but I would have loved to have been an astronaut. I've been the first person on Mars. Even if it's a one-way ticket, just to go check out Mars, see what they got going on over there, and have the Martians come kill me, would have been fine with me. I would have loved to have done that. I would have jumped at that opportunity, but unfortunately that wasn't in the cards for me medically when I had that surgery. But anything to do with space, astrophysics, watching the Cosmos series and Interstellar, all that stuff has always fascinated me. 17, I have two. Pick whichever you'd like first. As someone who is a solo player that's recently come back, I've been following your videos to check your build strats gear on Icy Veins. I was speed farming 90s in 3 minutes or less. I never got any useful primers. When comparing myself with the top of the GR leaderboards, I saw all these players decked out in them. How are they getting so many? And second of all, in your opinion, what is the best Diablo clone? How are people at the top of the leaderboards getting so many primals? Well, I'm just going to be honest with you. A lot of people cheat. A lot of people bot, and a lot of people bought bounties, and that's going to give them perfect gear. There are some legitimate players toward the top of the leaderboards. There aren't many that actually just grind and grind and grind. The best way to get good gear in the game is to do exactly what you're doing. Speed farm greater if 90 in under 3 minutes. The highest GR tier you can do in under 3 minutes is the best way to get good items. Now, if you have an item that's almost impossible to roll, like a Flavor of Time, for example, toward the end of the season, only then would I recommend doing bounties and reforging it. But the best way is just to keep doing greater ifs. And if you get to Paragon 3000 plus and you've just been blasting that many greater ifs, I can guarantee you that your gear is going to be extremely good. But there's no getting away from the fact that just tons and tons of people cheat, and hopefully Blizzard continues the ban way it's removing them. And what is the best Diablo clone? The ARPG that I have the most fun playing, besides Diablo 2 and Diablo 3, is Torchlight. Torchlight 2, I loved that game. It's very cartoony. It doesn't look like Diablo, but the gameplay is very fluid, and I love the puzzles, and I just love the game. It's just so much fun. Torchlight 3 came out. It had a bunch of bugs because people were reviewing it when it's in early access and they didn't like it. I really don't understand why people are so quick to judge something. I was having a blast playing Torchlight 3, and I heard that they just released part of the end game. So once we had some downtime in Diablo 3, we're going straight back to Torchlight 3 to blast that game. Pineapple or no? I'm assuming that this refers to the age-old question about pineapple on pizza or not. Prepare to be unimpressed. I've never had this on pizza. I like pineapple. I like pizza. How would the marriage of those two things go? I don't know, but I'd try it. And in general, I like most foods. There aren't many foods that I don't like. I don't like raw tomatoes. I don't like lettuce on things. I love salad, but I would never put lettuce on something. That makes absolutely no sense. I don't like raw eggs. But other than that, I like pretty much everything else. So My guess is I would like it, but the honest answer is I don't know. Let the debates begin in the comments section. How do you approach a video game? What is your thought process, and how do you set yourself up for success in enjoying a game? I'll tell you one of the biggest things, Rodrigo, that usually increases how much I like a game is if I know nothing about it. I knew nothing about Torchlight 3 when I got it before. Someone just told me Torchlight 3 is out. And so then the question started coming, Rax, are you getting it? Are you getting it? I go, oh, it's already installing. They go, really? You didn't read any reviews or do anything about it? No. I just want to play it and see if I like it. My approach in a video game, which I think is critically important, is to try to enjoy the game as a new user when it first comes out. Once you start to become a pro at any game or an expert in any field, you lose the allure of just, looking around in the world. Oh, look how beautiful it is. Oh, look at this green item. It's better than my white item. It's not even good, but it's a little bit better, and I'm happy about that. You only get the chance to be an amateur or a beginner once, and usually that's the most fun experience. So my thought process when going into a game is to enjoy being a noob, and if I can build a love for the foundation of the game, then I can move into, okay, how does attack speed in this game work? How does the weapon damage work? And I'll tell you another thing, and this happened to me a lot in World of Warcraft. There are a lot of theory crafters and people in their ivory towers number crunching on spreadsheets that swear by it. There is nothing better, and there's nothing that beats putting on a spec or putting on certain gear and going out and trying it. I had people tell me things back in the day with World of Warcraft where if you stack hit beyond a certain point, it does nothing for you. Your main hand and your offhand have this certain chance to miss, and that's it, and it never changes. Well, I stacked hit on my entire character, and I parsed it at the cap and with my outrageous hit, and I smashed the world record for all classes by having maximum hit. Because not only having maximum hit on my warrior, not only did it make my main hand and offhand miss way more often, but when it stopped missing, I generated more fury. More fury meant I could spam more of my abilities, and I just obliterated everybody. And everybody was making fun of me. Oh, there's the full hit warrior. And I go, here's the warrior that misses 2% of his offhand swings. Here's the warrior that's number 1 on WoW Meter Online for all classes in any region. Gotcha. So, don't just trust what online calculators say. Put on something and go try it. Has set me up for success in a lot of video games. 20. How do your friends and family react to you doing what you do for a living? Streamer or gaming personality are very new jobs. I'm wondering if your older relatives understand or think you're wasting your life. Love the content. Does your IRL family understand and support your decision? What do your parents think of your choice? So it's really just my mom and my brother left. Had a little bit of misfortune in the family, so it's really just my mom and my brother left. My mom is a very hard worker, and she knows a lot about finances. So she saw me, get my math degree, get my master's, build up my career, keep climbing the ladder. When I told her, she was a little bit concerned being a mom, but at the same time, my mom knows me. She's my mom. She knows that I have a burning passion for video games, and she knows that I can go to tournaments and I can win them and all these kinds of things I had done in the past, and she understands my drive that I've had since the first time I picked up a controller. So as long as I was able to explain to my mom, hey, I'm going to try it for this amount of time, let's see what happens, I have these certain goals that I want to meet, if we meet them, great, if not, I'll go back, but I'm going to feel real bad if I didn't try it, she was very supportive of me. My mom always has been. I have a really great mom, and I don't think my brother had, I'm guessing my brother didn't have any doubts. I'm sure some of my friends actually thought that, they're like, man, I'm surprised you didn't do it earlier. I really feel like this is where I belong. What character will I try first in D4? I'm guessing Barbarian. What's my favorite class in all the games? What are my plans for D4? Will Paragon farming be in the game? There will be an infinite leveling system, but it will not be like Paragon farming. It will be, from what I've heard from Blizzard, it will be much more dialed back. So it won't be as strong. So you won't have to play 10 million hours to be up there and competing. So that's good news. What's my favorite season? What's been my favorite class? So my favorite class is Barbarian. What character will I build first in Diablo 4? Probably Barbarian. But what I will probably do is I will ask you all, what do you want me to play? But I am going to be blasting D4. Like, you have probably never seen a human blast anything before. So I hope to have a completely, fully perfect character of all classes, but I might let you guys decide what class I play first, because to be honest, I don't care, because I'm going to play them all. Favorite class in all games, Barbarian. We talked about there will be the infinite scaling system. We're going to dial it back. My favorite season of Diablo 3 and my favorite build kind of coincide. My favorite season was season 4, because they had the static charge monk. Do you guys remember that build where you would dash around and put lightning everywhere and the lightning would connect and electrocute everything? That was the best build I ever played in the game. Alright, number 22. On Twitch, we see a rise in gamers like Dr. K. Do you have anything you'd want to stream or haven't because you're unsure whether or not your audience would like it? Will you play Diablo forever, or one day you might not know if you're going to move on to something else like the new one when it comes out? Do you ever think of leaving Diablo 3 at a certain point? I have streamed other games. I've streamed Wolfson and I've streamed Torchlight, and if there is another game that comes out that I really like, I'm definitely not opposed to streaming it, especially if you guys want to see it. I have no plans at this time to leave the Diablo directory, as long as I have a good relationship with Blizzard, as long as Diablo Immortal is a good game, Diablo 2 Remastered, Diablo 4. As long as they're really good games, I plan to continue blasting Diablo for the majority of my channel's uptime. But maybe we'll do some fun things, like if I ever do go on vacation, for example, I promise to stream every single day for 10 years, so maybe we'll do some IRL streams and climb some mountains or something, or go to Hawaii or something. So there will definitely be other things on my channel besides Diablo. I will definitely switch to Diablo Immortal and Diablo 2 Remastered and Diablo 4 when a new Diablo game comes out, provided that it's a good game. So I will definitely switch. And when Diablo 4 comes out, I will probably only blast that. But there will be some variety of things on my channel for sure. 23, tough one. Are you happy with the current state of your life? How are you, Rax? Are you happy and content in life? How's life? So no alarm bells. I'm gonna answer this honestly. No alarm bells. In my life, there have been a lot of peaks and valleys, a lot of really high highs, and a lot of very low lows. From deaths in the family to losing all of our money when I was young and we couldn't even buy milk, and trying to, figure it out, and other challenges. And there have been some really good moments as well. Because of a lot of those things, I like to think that I'm very grounded or very level-minded. So I approach each day, I'm happy for each day. I would say I am content in life. Essentially, how I feel is it takes a very, very amazing event to make me feel happy. And it takes a very, very catastrophic, terrible event to make me feel very low. I'm very neutral all the time. I will say I'm much happier now doing this content creation than my previous job. Just love being here, love hanging out with you guys. I love video games. No alarm bells need to be sound. I am not in any way depressed, and I never have been. And I think everything is good. But if I'm being honest with you, am I happy? That's not really that's not really a way that I feel very often. I don't ever feel happy. I'm happy if I like get some tacos and I eat those, but then they're gone and then I'm sad and then I want more tacos. Um, but I don't have very strongly shifting emotions, if I can put it that way. Number 24, controller or mouse and keyboard. I played a lot of both computer and console games. I'm very comfortable with both. For FPS, I have only played on a controller. I've never played an FPS on a computer. I'm assuming that mouse and keyboard is the superior instrument for that, so I would probably need to learn if I ever played an FPS on the computer. But I have a lot of hours logged on both, so comfortable with both. What would be the Rax set bonus and for what class? To be honest, one thing that I thought was going to be coming out this season is I thought the Necromancer set was going to have something to do with revive, where we could kill monsters and revive them and really be a master of the army of the dead and have our whole army plowing through and just killing everything. I would have loved to see that. Another fun idea would be something to do with boulder toss. There's something fun about, the barbarian's ability where he throws that big boulder. If you could make that do outrageous damage for the metas and have everything group up and literally throw a boulder on it to flatten it, that would be pretty fun as well. Number 26, you are the Diablo Grandmaster. I don't know about that one. But are you good at Cornhole? And can you play Warzone? Can you play Warzone? As a Halo player, I find that question very offensive. I would never play Call of Duty. I'm just kidding, but I'm also not kidding. Am I good at Cornhole? I'll tell you, that's the game. Isn't that the game where you throw the bags and it goes in the hole? Like the lawn game or whatever? Is that the game? It's going to sound really dumb if that's not the game, but I'll tell you a funny story. With one of my ex-girlfriends, we went to her best friend's wedding. And my ex-girlfriend is a very competitive person. And so we went to the wedding, yay, and then the reception was actually outdoors, so it was a very nice day, and they had a bunch of lawn games. And so I saw this game, and I was like, hey, Stacy, do you want to play this? And she's like, Ryan, I don't even want to play you in this game. Have you ever played this game? I said, no, I haven't. And I don't even know what you do. I have something to do with these little bean bags. And like, yeah, you stand over there behind it, and you try to throw it in the hole. I'm like, okay, yeah, that sounds fun. Let's play. And she was like, all right, I swear to God, Ryan, if you just throw it straight in the hole, I'm done. I'm like, okay, I don't think that's going to happen. And I threw it straight in the hole. She was so mad. She just quit instantly. So I haven't really got a chance to play it, but I have decent hand-eye coordination. I played sports when I was little, and I played a lot of video games. So if that's the game that you're talking about, if I'm thinking of the right game, in the 5 seconds that I played it, I did pretty good. Number 27, where do you see yourself in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Do you think you will continue streaming? Keep up the great work, bro. All I want to know is, where do you see yourself in the future? I don't ever think about this, to be honest. I like to take it one day at a time. I wake up and I say, how can I be a good person today? How can I have a good stream today? What's the next meaningful video that I can put out? If you guys haven't noticed on my channel, I don't vomit videos on my channel just to say I had an upload for the day. I try to only upload something that is going to be an interesting clear, or a guide, or a really funny moment that's very short, so even if you decide to watch it, at least it's very short. I am not here to clutter my YouTube with just a million videos. So what I focus on every day is, what can I do very well for today to set myself up for a better tomorrow? That's all the farther I've thought about it. Where do I see myself streaming in 20 years? In 20 years, we'll probably stream the opening of Diablo 4, so that will be exciting. No, but seriously, I have no plans to step away from content creation. I'm having a blast doing it, even though I've done it every freaking day for 1 year and 4 months. I'm still happy to be here, so I hope to still be involved with streaming and content creation and video games for a long time. There is no way I can continue to put in the hours that I currently do. I'm going to have to reduce them a bit, but hopefully that doesn't impact the quality of anything. And in fact, actually, I have some ideas on how to make the quality actually better. So that will be coming soon. Plan to stay in video games. Number 28, how many hours played do you have on each class in D3? Only one way to find out. Let's fire it up. Let me show you. While it's firing up, everyone have a mental guess. What's the highest hours and what's the lowest hours? So, view profile. 3,000 on Barb. 77 on Satyr. 673 on DH. 1421 on Monk. 1822 on Necro. 96 on Witch Doctor, and 64 on Wizard. So pretty much I'm a Barb, Necro, Monk, DH player. 29, Jules. Ryan, do you ever have moments where you regret the 10-year commitment? Every single day. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's hard. It's hard to stream every day. I can imagine the relief it would take off, the pressure it would alleviate if I even took off 1 day a week. And then people say, well, just have 1 day where you stream less. That doesn't count. That's cheating. No, but I'll have to figure something out. It's been 1 year and 4 months. But Jules, my opinion is if you want to make a big statement, then you have to make a big statement, literally. When I first started, I am going to stream every day for 10 years. Everybody laughs that I'll never do it, or they'll say, Ryan, people usually don't even make it 1 year when they commit to doing that. There's no way. Well, every time I heard that, it just made me a little bit more motivated to do it even more. So it's been good so far. One time our internet went out, so we had that terrible stream where I used my phone's Wi-Fi, and we did a just chatting stream where I was just talking. But in some ways it's tough because it's hard to do it every day. It's hard. But at the same time, I'm trying to make a big statement. I'm trying to keep my promises. I'm trying to stand for something, and that is enough to motivate me to keep blasting. Number 30, what is your biggest regret or opportunity that you did not take? This is going to sound really dumb, and this is going to sound maybe not like me. When I was in 7th grade, I was playing the Pokemon card game, and I was good at it. I won a lot of tournaments, and I got an invite from Wizards of the Coast to go to Nationals and Worlds to represent the United States. And I didn't go. And it was an all-expense-paid trip. And the reason why I didn't go is because I didn't want to win. Because I thought if I won that every kid in my school would make fun of me because no one knew that I played and went to all these tournaments, and it was a big passion of mine. And then, so of course, everyone always asks me, well, Ryan, why didn't you just go and lose on purpose? And it's like, have you guys ever met me? Do you guys even know me? I would never go and lose on purpose. If we're going to win. But of course, in hindsight, who cares? I should have went, and I should have tried to win. So that was the one moment where I let people's possible perception of me outshine what I actually wanted to do or something that I was passionate about. And then once I got a little bit older, I realized how dumb that was, and so I'm never going to let it ever happen again. 31. If you had it your way and money wasn't an issue, what upgrades would you make to your current system? What gaming setup do you use? Can we see a gaming setup tour? So my gaming setup is, to be honest, very basic. It's just 2 monitors, a keyboard, a mouse, a webcam, and a mic. And my computer is a decent computer. It's nothing amazing. There's nothing spectacular about my setup, which is something that I need to and plan on changing. So what upgrades would I make? I'd get more monitors. The more information that I can have, the better while I'm streaming. I've heard from a lot of big streamers that the dual PC setup helps improve performance. So I may try to set up when we do like Diablo 4. There are some big upgrades coming. I ordered a super god tier microphone that's going to come. I hope that's going to increase the audio of not only my YouTube but also my Twitch streams. And gaming setup tour, once we have it all built, there's nothing to show you now. Once we have the new setup coming, I of course will show you everything. Number 32, I'll throw in a few for good measure. As a hardware nerd, did you build your own PC or did you just buy it pre-built? I picked all the parts and then they sent it to me. Since you're a competitive person that shows in your Diablo streams, do you see yourself streaming other types of competitive play, or are you sticking to ARPGs? For the most part, I'll stick to ARPGs, but I have done the occasional Halo stream. Actually, last time that I booted up, we were against world champion Zyos, and we were able to take some games from his team. So we'll still play some other competitive stuff like Halo, for example. If solo suddenly became the most efficient way to farm in Diablo, would you give up group play for it, or would you stick to what you enjoy it more? I do like to play in groups more. If solo is more efficient, I would probably do that for a lot more of the time, but I will always in some way, if it's possible, play in groups, and I have to play in groups in order to do community stuff, which is very important to me. So it's going to be rare that I'm going to abandon group play in any ARPG, unless it just doesn't make any sense at all. What would you say to your past self or someone starting out as a streamer as advice that you picked up over your last 1.25 years on Twitch? The number one thing that I would say is when you turn on the camera and you start talking into the microphone, you have to be yourself. I don't act in any way differently than me when I'm on stream, other than filtering some of the naughty thoughts that I have some of the time, or some of my maybe more controversial opinions on things. Other than not sharing those, I hope that my friends and family would tell you, you are honestly seeing me for who I am. I'm not acting in any way. I'm not saying things that I don't mean. I'm not putting on a show for you guys. And that, I think, takes a lot of pressure off of me, because I've had streamers talk to me, ask me, how do you do it? I'm trying to act this way and it's exhausting to me. I tell them, I'm not acting a certain way. That's probably your problem. You got to let people get to know the real you and decide if they like the real you or not. Don't try to be somebody else. And lastly, why don't you recognize the bass as the superior instrument and play the guitar? And why do you play the guitar? Well, the bass has 4 strings and the guitar has 6 or sometimes 12, right? So last I checked, 6 is bigger than 4. What is your income? How do you sustain your house while being a full-time streamer? Is YouTube paying you enough to do this full-time? So when you first are starting this, unless you already have a big following, unless you have tons of subscribers, unless you have a Twitch, I think the way that most people do it is the way that I do it, is you build up a nest egg and you just go for it and see if it's going to work out. For a long time, the income from YouTube and Twitch was not enough to break even or go positive. Now that we're at 50,000 subs for YouTube, now that we've been streaming on Twitch for 1 year and 4 months straight, now it's to the point where we're at least breaking even every month. So in general, I would say it's hard. Another thing about my channel, guys, is I've been approached in the last, whatever it is, 1.33 years by probably 50 or 60 sponsors. And some of them have offered me a pretty good amount of money to do something with their products. And it's not that they weren't great companies. It's not that they didn't make me fair offers. It's none of that. It's that if I am going to take a minute of your time or something to put an advertisement in one of my videos, it better be a product that I live, eat, sleep, and breathe, that I absolutely love, and I think you guys are going to really like. So if content creators are starting off, if they accept a lot of these offers, you would have made a lot. I would have made a lot more money. But you have never seen such an advertisement in my YouTube. You've never seen such an advertisement in my Twitch because I've never accepted them, because I'm waiting to align with the right brands, because I just cannot be bought with money. I value your guys' time and the purity of the brand way more. When you fire up a YouTube video, they'll learn about a guide. I want it to be about a guide, unless there is a company out there that I really want to partner with and I believe in their products. The reason I bring this up is if you were starting and if you chose to accept some of those to make ends meet, to keep moving forward, that's another way that you can make it feasible. But the income is at a much more sustainable level now than it ever was before. Number 34, who are my favorite Diablo YouTubers? D1, D2, D3. I've never seen a Diablo 1 YouTuber, so if there is one, I'm sorry. I've never watched YouTube for Diablo 1. I've also never played Diablo 1. I need to play that game. Diablo 2, I really like Mr. Llama. He's got really good content. I like the video where he found his Tyrell's Might and he just went ballistic. That was amazing. For D3, I don't watch much YouTube for D3 anymore because I'm so immersed in the game that I don't know what I would watch a video on. Some of my favorite content creators are some of the original content creators, like Big Daddy Den and Leviathan, who unfortunately just stepped down, and Woodijo and Riker, of course. He has like the best news, the best ARPG news. I watch Quinn69 all the time. I watch Al Kaiser for the big clears. And there have been some other newer YouTubers that are doing very well. Bloodshed's doing very well. Filthy Casual's doing very well. There's a lot of good content creators now for Diablo 3. I apologize if I missed anybody. What YouTube channels do I enjoy watching? I'll tell you one thing that I have a guilty pleasure on. I love watching YouTube channels that talk about world records or world record progressions in video games. I don't know if you guys have ever seen either of these channels, but if you haven't, I would strongly recommend them. Let me show you. This guy, Carl Jobst. This guy has the evolution of speedrunning. Can you spot? This guy is incredible. He's one of my favorites, and the other one is Summoning Salt. This guy, this might be my favorite YouTuber, Summoning Salt. Just watch the history of Ninja Gaiden, or watch the history of Castlevania, whatever your favorite thing is. This guy's YouTubes to me are a masterpiece. When it comes to the guitar, what motivated me to keep practicing, and what is my favorite song to play and why? What motivated me to keep practicing is I wanted it to actually sound like I was playing songs. So the first song I ever learned was Gloria by Van Morrison, which is just E, D, A, and it just wasn't sounding like that. It was just... But then you keep practicing, and finally when I learned to relax while I was playing, when I learned to relax, then is when I think the sound improved a lot. Favorite song to play, any finger picking song is probably my favorite. I'm a lot better at guitar with my fingers than a pick, so I played Dust in the Wind for a long time. I really like Broken by Seether. I really like Island in the Sun by Weezer. Those are some of my favorites. I need to practice, man. 36. Have you ever played Magic the Gathering? You have that Magic the Gathering vibe. Played Pokemon. Got the all-expense paid trip to Worlds and Nationals that I didn't take, which was super dumb. I've never played Magic the Gathering, believe it or not. I've never played it. I've heard that I would like it, so just need a teacher, I guess. 37. It's the apocalypse. You find a PC with the generator that can crank. You find on the system there's one game to play for the rest of your life. What game is it? First game that pops into my mind, I think that I would take, and this might surprise you guys, is chess. I feel like that would mentally stimulate what's remaining of my mush brain. And, you know, after a day of smashing nail bats into zombies' faces and cutting off their heads with a katana, you know, there's nothing better than sitting down and playing a Queen's Gambit Declined in chess. 38. Sarah, good lord, I think I know everything about you. I've been lurking and following forever, and the odd subscribe when I can. So my question would be, how do you think the world is going to end? My best guess is when Blizzard announces that Diablo 4 is actually just an expansion to Diablo Immortal on the phone. I don't think there are going to be any survivors. 39. What are my thoughts on hardcore versus softcore in Diablo 3? Well, time to lose every hardcore only player on my channel. Let me put it to you this way. I'm friends with some of the best hardcore players in the world. Okay? And I asked them when I was making my tier list, how can we make a build tier list for hardcore and include it in this video? And they laughed at me and said, Ryan, we play all the same builds that you do. Play it a little bit tankier and take a cheat death maybe, but we play the same builds. It's the same thing. We run rats just like you guys do, or the Demon Hunter XP metas. We push the God D8 solo the same way, it's just a little bit tankier. The thing that deters me from hardcore is I lag and I disconnect in Diablo regularly. The servers are not reliable for, I don't think, anybody in the world. And I'm going to be very upset if I lose my character to a disconnect that I built. That's not going to feel good for anybody. My thoughts on hardcore, if I were going to play my God DH on hardcore, I'd drop my COE for an elusive ring potentially to be way tankier. I'd lose a couple tiers of damage, and then I should be ready to go. I'm already taking a cheat death, but that elusive ring already, with putting a couple points into vitality, should be enough to virtually never die, and if you proc, port to town until it's back, and then come back. I'm going to have to do hardcore one of these seasons. Number 40, what has been your single most valuable piece of knowledge you have gathered from streaming? Other than what we mentioned earlier being genuine and being yourself, the thing that I would implore you to do if you want to be a streamer is you must have a schedule and you must stick to it. If you say you're going to be on these days at this time, unless a meteor hits your house, you should be there. If your viewers don't know when they can find you and when they can watch you, I don't know how you're going to grow your channel. What game hasn't been remaked or remastered that you would like to see? Are there any upcoming games that you're excited for? I was excited for Torchlight 3. I didn't get to play it much. I want to keep blasting that. The game that I want to be remastered is Diablo 2. please give us Remastered Diablo 2 and we'll all blast it. Number 42. Do you have legs? Do you have legs? I want this put in. Number 43. You are a genuine guy, and I like that about you. My question is, how do you feel about silver coins or collectibles? I really like the idea of collecting something like that, which is exactly why I try my best not to collect anything. I don't have a collection of anything because I feel like if I got started, then I would take it way too far, so I'm trying to stay away from it. But really with stuff that people collect like coins, I actually think that's really cool, and that's something that I would be really into. Number 44, fun question for you. If the world were more like the world of Diablo, what would you attempt to do to survive? And how long do you think you would make it, and which demon would get you? If I was in the world of Diablo, what would I do to survive? Well, the first thing I would do is not roll a necromancer. That would be the first step. I guess I'd probably be a demon hunter so I could shoot people from range would be my best guess. How long do I think I would make it? 17 days. Which demon would get you? Definitely Mancarver because he has Waller. The first wall that goes up, I'm dead. What is my earliest significant gaming memory? I will never forget in Final Fantasy I as a little kid when I could not read. I could not figure out where to go in the game. I couldn't read and they were telling me what to do. I just didn't know. And I'll never forget when I went down and I found a random patch of sand. And there was an item in my inventory that I could not figure out what it did. Because usually when I would use an item, if I was using it right, it would make a noise. And if it made the right noise, then it told me that I did something good. But I was playing for months and months and months just killing wolves. I had no idea what to do. And when I went to this patch of sand, and I got the idea, why don't I use this random item that I can't figure out what it does? And it made the noise, and my face lit up as like a 4-year-old kid, and I saw the airship rise out of the sand. I just started bursting out crying. I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, I figured it out and I have an airship. And then I flew around all the world exploring all these new places that I never got to see. And then I was so over leveled for everything. I just destroyed the rest of the game. But that was probably the happiest moment ever in any gaming thing ever, was when I figured out to go to the sand pit and summon the airship. I just burst out crying. I was so happy. If I could travel anywhere in the world, ignoring expenses and everything, where would I go? I'm a big fan of beaches. I'm a salamander. I can lay in the sun and just absorb the heat. I went to the top-ranked beach in the world in Turks and Caicos a few years ago. So if I could go anywhere, I'd probably go back there and build a streamer mansion and just hang out on the beach. Number 47, my question is, with all the shenanigans Blizzard has been up to for the past few years, how high are your hopes for Diablo 4? And what are the main new things that you'd like to see in Diablo 4? I'll be honest with you guys. This video is for you guys. Realistically, how high are my hopes for Diablo 4? Very high. I think Blizzard is going all in on this game. I've heard they have an entire building filled with people that are working on it. And then, of course, here comes the joke. Yeah, there's 1,000 people in the building. 998 of them are there to figure out how much money they can get from China, and 2 of them are building the game. Okay, I've heard it all. Actually, they have, I think, a massive, massive team and massive resources on the game. They're showing us what they're doing early. They're asking for feedback. That alone is so powerful. that I think it's going to be an amazing game. I hope I can be a beta tester, an alpha tester for Diablo 4. I will do anything that I can to make it a successful game if they'd like to have me. What are the main new things that I'd like to see in Diablo 4? I want to see rare items. And I mean rare items that are really hard to get, that are things to chase. If we play Diablo 4 for a month and we're bored and we have everything, that is going to be the biggest disaster. Along those lines, there needs to be an end game. What is the end game? It needs to take a long time to complete. It needs to feel rewarding. You give me rare items, good itemization, and an end game, and Diablo 4 will be godly even if the rest of the stuff is messed up. 48. I'm going to throw out a few questions. If you aren't comfortable, there's no pressure. What got you into gaming? How has gaming impacted my life? I've always been a gamer. Since I was 3 years old or 4 years old playing Final Fantasy 1, it has been my favorite hobby, and it's been how I've made almost all of my friends. So it's impacted my life tremendously. One of the biggest things people have said to me throughout my life was games are not social, a statement that is incorrect for me personally. I was wondering what your thoughts on that topic were. I'll tell you something. There were people in my high school that say, Ryan, you have all these gamer friends, but you don't have any real friends. And these people were going out and partying and da-da-da-da-da. You don't know what happened to them? When they graduated high school, they all went to separate colleges all around the United States. They never talk anymore. And I've talked to them before, and a lot of them have like one or two friends left from high school, and that's it. I can tell you almost every close gaming friend that I made, whether it was middle school, high school, college, we are still very close, and we always have that bond where we have something that we like to do together. We like to play games. And that is a much stronger bond than liking to go out on Friday night and drink. So saying that games are not social, to me, really is just a bunch of nonsense. If you have or were to have a kid, would you introduce them to gaming, and how would you go about it? I would. I think gaming at its core is just problem solving. When you're playing Mario, you're running from A to B, getting some power-ups without dying. And I think there's a lot to learn from gaming. Yeah, I mean, if you're playing a game where all you do is kill stuff and there's blood everywhere and it's terrifying and yada, 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 maybe in some way that sends the wrong message. But what about having fun? But what about solving problems? What about putting in time and effort in order to build something or chase something that you want to accomplish? What about making friends and chatting with people and ha 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 and funny emotes and stuff like that? What about all that stuff? All that stuff I think is very valuable. And I would introduce it to them. And if they like gaming, I would encourage them to do it. And if they don't, that's perfectly fine. I would never make my kids do anything that they don't want to do, and they can have their own interests and be their own people. What would you say is one of your proudest gaming moments? Proudest gaming moments? Man. I'll tell you one thing that jumped out in my mind right away is a lot of people told me it was impossible to be a warlord at the 50 to 59 bracket in World of Warcraft. They said it was just straight impossible because you just couldn't get enough honor. And I became a warlord in the 50 to 59 bracket. And I was going to get high warlord, but then Blizzard removed the rankings a week or two before I was going to get high warlord at 50 to 59. My proudest moments, again, as I mentioned earlier, when I got the world #1 pars for all classes, stacking hit on my warrior when people said it didn't work, and it obviously did. My proudest gaming moments always stem from when people said I could not do something, because that really motivates me to prove them wrong. Number 49. What ways do you keep your body healthy? After playing Diablo for a lot of hours on the PC, I noticed you recline in your chair a certain way. Does that add for comfort? I remember that you said on stream that you're going to start benching again soon as the quarantine drops. Is that still the case? So I got a new chair, and this chair does not recline. It forces me to sit up like a statue with good posture. So if you're going to be playing a lot of games, I would strongly recommend a chair that is very ergonomically correct. And I think leaning back in my previous chair cost me. And am I going to start bench again? Yes, I've been lifting for about a month straight. We're finally back into lifting, and it's feeling really good, looking a lot better. And finally, the questions that I have been asked 1,000,000 times. Am I bald? Am I fat? Am I hiding something? Why do I wear the hoodie? And everything you could ever think about asking about the hoodie. And do I ever wash it? And do I smell bad? Ta-da! Guys, I'm not bald. In fact, I've got way too much hair. Look how crazy my hair is after showering. Am I fat? Let me show you. Not fat. So to answer the age-old story about the hoodie, when I started streaming, I was wearing the hoodie for the first 1 or 2 days, and then one of the 5 viewers I had said, "You wore that hoodie yesterday, didn't you? Are you going to wear that every single day?" And I said, "No, I'm not. I mean, I could, but no, I'm not going to." Am I? I mean, I could. It's gonna suck in summer, but yeah, I could. I guess I could. Yeah, why not? I'll wear the hoodie for a while, and then it just snowballed from there. And we've been wearing it for a long time, pretty much all the time. So, no, I'm not bald. I'm not fat. I do wash the hoodies, and I do have multiple copies of them. As far as hygiene goes, I would say I'm more on the clean side of most people. Shower at least once a day, and I actually care very much about how I smell. So if you ever see me at BlizzCon, go in for a hug and check for yourself, but I think you'll be pleased with the results. Well, I want to thank all of you for everything, not just for the 50,000 subs and all the views, but for all the nice comments that you've left me, or the constructive criticism, or even for participating in this and asking the questions, or taking the time to watch this video to learn a little bit more about me. Like I said earlier in the video, I do not consider you guys just one more number and one more viewer on my videos. I consider you guys my friends. I hope we can continue to enjoy the Diablo games and other ARPGs and other games together for a long time. I'm super happy to be here, and as far as I'm concerned, I've got the best job in the world. Thank you so much.